Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I did. I'm ready to deliver radio superbity to you. And we're going to break a story right off the bat here today. Right here on Real Talk 1160, we are going to break a big news story. I don't know any of you watched yesterday at all. There was a 1,000-boat flotilla for Queen Elizabeth in London going down the Thames River. A 1,000-boat flotilla. Well, Mark Mallory apparently has commissioned a 1,000-boat flotilla for himself going down the Ohio River in the middle of the choir games. And I am supposed to announce anybody with a boat that would like to participate in Mark Mallory's 1,000-boat flotilla during the choir games needs to contact the mayor's office. We broke that story. Nobody else has that story.
I did not know that. That is brand new.
You know, another thing, this choir games, which is coming in July, I tell you, folks, are you going to go? Can you imagine? There's going to be like 10 million extra people. 10 million extra people in Cincinnati for about a week or so. They're going to come from all over the world. Gosh, can you imagine the economic impact like restaurant? Oh, my, there's not going to be a restaurant without... How are they going to take care of all these people? Because a normal Friday, Saturday night, a good restaurant is crowded. What do you do when you add a couple million people?
A lot of extra hot dog stands.
That's a great idea, TC. Bulldog's hot dog stands.
And they wash it down with great tasting, slimy living green water.
That's right.
You know I was going to say, it's kind of odd that they call it the choir games. I mean, is it a competition? Are they fighting?
It's a competition.
I mean, are they going to be like...
My choir's better than your choir. We can hit that high note better than you. Well, your choice of music selection wasn't as good as ours.
Exactly.
We got Nick Lachey coaching us, man.
Ooh.
The choir games battle. It shouldn't even be called a game. Isn't it serious business when people gather together and sing? Let me see what else. Graders. This is an outrage, folks. I'm talking an outrage. Graders came in 6th on the list of 12 with U.S. News and World Report highlighting their black raspberry chocolate chip, butter pecan, and cinnamon flavors. How do you like that? 6th. How come Graders isn't first? And this came from Bulldog Nation member Gwen. And Bulldog Nation Gwen says, Kroger's new line of private selection ice cream beats Graders.
Whoa.
That's a throwdown, baby.
May have to try that.
Wonder what UDF has to say about that. We got premium select. You know, depending on when you are on the air on the radio, you know, sometimes you get the story first, sometimes you get the story last. Well, if anything breaks from Friday, obviously from 9 o'clock all the way up till now, we don't get to be on the cutting edge of the news relative to that. Something happened on Friday that was so significant, the release late Friday of a jobs report. Not good. Not good at all. We didn't create as many jobs. Unemployment's still there. People leaving the job force. Not looking good for Barack Obama. And when you consider tomorrow in Milwaukee, Wisconsin has not been won by a Republican running for the presidency since 1984, when old Ronald Reagan did it, baby. So anyway, bottom line is that we will have an opportunity tomorrow to see what's going to happen there. The recall, Scott Walker running against the Democrat mayor of Milwaukee. And Scott Walker, the last poll showed him up like 7 points. So what did they try to do? They tried to say he was the subject of a criminal investigation. Good golly. But Scott Walker wins that, man. It's looking bad for Barack Obama in good old Wisconsin. And here's something else. I got in yesterday, not yesterday, Friday. This is funny. Greg Weckenbrock. It's not Mark Weckenbrock. I promoted the hell out of figure weight loss, and I also promoted him to call in at 8:35 on Friday. Well, I got the day wrong, which is today, and I also got the first name wrong, which is Greg and not Mark, and I knew that. I don't know why I did that. But That explains why I only get $1 million from figure weight loss, and Jessica Simpson gets $4 million because she gets the name right for Weight Watchers. See, that's the difference. She's a pro.
It's like the guy in that commercial applying for a job with Mr. Dumas.
Yeah.
And he calls him something else.
Right.
The accent on the wrong syllable.
Right. And coming in next week, Rick Robinson, who wrote a book called Writ of Mandamus. And he's actually, I think, out of town promoting his book now. 2011 International Independent Author of the Year. He wrote a book. He's writing a series of books. This is the third one about politics based on a Kentucky congressman. And ladies and gentlemen, he's going to be in here to spend a whole show with us next week, TC. This guy has been chosen by yours truly, subject to the approval of station management, and I've been told to bring him in here and just, see how he goes. He's got some experience doing radio. He's going to be my backup. This is the guy that's got to put up with you, TC, when I go on vacation or I'm sick.
I'm going to break in a newbie, huh?
And I'm going to tell him all about your bad ways.
Yeah,
I'm going to warn him before.
I just love breaking in new talk show hosts.
Today in history, in 781 BC, the first historical solar eclipse is recorded in China. How come everything? They invented gunpowder. They invented the solar eclipse.
Coffee.
1789, the U.S. Constitution went into effect. It was today it went into effect. And it's been under attack ever since. 1845, the U.S.-Mexican War began. Did you know who opposed that war? Lincoln, Grant. Polk wanted the war, so he kind of baited the Mexicans into a battle down at the old Rio Grande. And the next thing you know, we had a war, just like George Bush.
Yeah, you're right.
In 1896, Henry Ford drove his Ford through the streets of Detroit. I wonder if it was called a Ford right out of the bat. This is a Ford. My name's Henry Ford. It is a Ford. It ran out of gas halfway around the block.
It's called by its model number?
I just made that up. I have no idea what it meant. 1917, American men began registering for the draft, and they've been burning draft cards ever since. 1919, the Senate approved the women's suffrage bill. I got a question, folks. Suffrage, does it not violate the Laverne and Shirley rule? Isn't suffrage? Why can't they just say women's voting bill? No, let's call it suffrage, so nobody understands what the hell we're talking about.
It's vocabulary word number 6.
Typical Congress. Let's call it suffrage. 1942, the Battle of Midway began, and guess who won that battle? Japan's first major defeat in World War II. Turn the tide, Battle of Midway.
Midway Middies beat them?
We sank, I think, 3 of their carriers, or at least 2, and 1 was permanently disabled.
Nice.
And this is kind of crazy, but 1977, Apple II, the first personal computer, went on sale. Did you buy one, TC?
Yeah, I had all that money then.
My wife actually still has hers.
Is that 82?
God, it looks so old.
Yeah. Well,
1977, the Apple II.
Oh, 77.
The first personal computer.
Yeah, I was on allowance then.
Gosh, just think about that. You come out with a product to make computers be in every. God, that is a historic moment.
Oh yeah, it is. It's huge.
Everybody genuflect to Steve Jobs. If you're in a car, don't genuflect. Just bow your head, but keep your eyes on the road. 1984, Arnold Palmer failed to make the U.S. Open golf tournament first time in 32 years. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea why we put that in our day in history.
Because.
1984, Bruce Springsteen released Born in the USA, and he was a star.
How about that?
That was a great album.
Excellent.
I was in my college fraternity at the time. I remember walking into a party down at Thomasville, and I walked in. I'll never forget this, and they just started playing that song. And for the first time I ever heard it, I said, that's a good song.
And then Ronald Reagan used it for a short time, briefly, in his campaign.
You know that Sports Illustrated supermodel we call Barr?
Yes.
Well, last week she had a birthday. She turned 27. According to my sheet here, she's 27 again today. She has 2 birthdays. She's that smoking hot. How hot do you have to be to have 2 birthdays, folks?
As pretty as she is, she's allowed to have 2.
She was born twice. That's why she's so beautiful. Also birthday today, Angelina Jolie, 37. I got a question for Brad Pitt. Does Angeline still have Billy Bob's blood in that vial? Do you carry the vial of a significant woman around your neck?
No, I do not. Never thought of it, never crossed my mind.
Freddie Fender's birthday today.
Wasted days and wasted nights.
That's like a feel-good. You got a good feel-good song for us today?
I've got a great feel-good song. Thought about this one all weekend, and I thought, what would Bulldog members really like to hear?
TC, now you know what it's like to pick the feel-good song. It consumes your time and thoughts, doesn't it?
It does.
Trying to come up with one.
But you know what? Music consumes my time and thoughts anyway.
That's right. King George III. His birthday would have been today. Wow. Sorry, George, we took the colonies. He kind of went crazy. You know that? George III went nuts. Literally nuts.
You lose the whole country, I'd go nuts too.
I'm happy to report there is no deaths in the military to report. When we come back, I will continue my path of radio superbity on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. I want to cover a few things that happened over the weekend before yesterday, like Friday through Saturday. Things to report from Saturday and Sunday's newsletter and blog. And the first thing is, unfortunately, we did lose Army Private Leroy Durrani III and Army Specialist Keith Jacobs. We're going to honor them because if they don't fall on a Monday or Tuesday, we still don't want to forget about those guys that we report in the blog and newsletter over the weekend. There was a poll taken by the New York Post, the top 3 most hated people in America. Casey Anthony, number 1, 19.8%.
Wow. Still. Pretty high on the list.
Casey Anthony. You know, that's a pretty cool thing. You send out a resume, you polish it up where you worked, where you went to school, and then you put at the very top, say, voted most hated woman in America. Gotta tire that girl. Now, this is proof, folks, that it doesn't matter if people hate you. Number 2 on the list, Kim Kardashian, 17.3%.
Whoa.
Kim Kardashian, the second most hated person, and she's still making lots of money. Why? Because there's people that like her. You don't have to be loved by everybody.
Not surprised. J.R. Ewing must be number 3.
Jerry Sandusky is number 3.
Ooh, okay.
He's just misunderstood.
Yeah, he's misunderstood, all right. What did you say, pick up the soap? Not surprising that there are that many people ahead of O.J.
Right. Right. I don't know who was 4, 5, or 6. I just got the top 3. There was an article yesterday in the Inquirer about the Ohio death penalty, and at Hamilton County is the only county that really sends people to death row. Of course, that's Joe TNT Deters, the prosecutor, who's doing that. Let me tell you something. It's hard work to go for capital punishment, so Joe's just doing his job. What else I was going to say about? Oh, yeah. He must not like life imprisonment either. I've never talked to Joe about his thoughts about life imprisonment. But it was a good story about Joe, and he's a great prosecutor. Joe Biden's daughter, 30-year-old Ashley Blazer Biden, was married Saturday to a Dr. Howard David Crine in Wilmington. There's no word yet whether Joe Biden screwed up the father-daughter toast.
Oh, that's just Dad.
Politico reports, or not Politico, Associated Press reports, that a Phoenix mom apparently had been smoking pot at a park with her boyfriend, and she left the baby on top of her car in the car seat and drove off. The baby was found safe in the car seat in the road.
Really?
Wow. Now, that could kind of happen even if you weren't smoking pot, but I'd say she's going to have a trip to social services.
But I tell you what, the manufacturer of that car seat, man, their stock just went through the roof.
Absolutely. You can leave your child on top of a car, and then she can roll off in the car, and the child will still be alive.
Safer than a Volvo.
That's a great point, TC. We got to find out who manufactured that car seat.
Get one of those for Riley, no doubt.
Bill on Hillary in 2016, running, says, well, we'll see. Well, we'll see. And Nancy Pelosi's out there promoting the heck out of her.
Oh,
we haven't even had the 2012 election, and all the Democrats are saying, well, Brooks going to lose. We're just going to give. What next? Next, who we got for 2016? Let's just forget about 2012.
Well, who else is the leading dog there with the organization? It's going to be Hillary.
Nobody.
Yep.
I tell you, and you know what they're going to run on? I told you. Told you shouldn't have voted for Brock. Told you. Told you. And then finally, the weekend news from Friday that we missed, raging going on in Egypt. Because Hosni Mubarak, the former president, and his chief security chief were only given life imprisonment. Not good enough for the radical extreme. They want Mubarak dead. And they went to the streets to demand it.
Now, see, here's the one, and I was wondering what you were going to say about this because the whole life in prison versus death. Here's a guy, he's 85 years old. He's in poor health. Let him live and suffer. Let him suffer. If you kill him, it's too quick.
It's a good point. Now, this is funny. I read New York Times, Wall Street Journal, everything over the weekend. And, folks, there are some things that you're counting on me to deliver. And I know you're counting on me to deliver because you know I read all these newspapers, and you can count on me to bring the news that you don't have the time to find. And this caught my eye in the New York Times Sunday edition. Did you know LeBron James and Kevin Garnett own interests in European soccer teams? James in Liverpool and Garnett in AS Roma. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, is what's going on right now in the basketball court about more than basketball? Is it to brag about who's got the better soccer team? Is that what they're saying out there when they're trash talking?
That could be it.
LeBron saying, Liverpool, we're going to kick Rome's butt.
They could be talking that.
Be talking that smack, baby.
Is there a world
peace
team?
I thought that was weird. You know, can you imagine all these rich guys? Yeah. How much stuff they own that nobody knows. I mean, they're putting their money everywhere. Oh, soccer team in Europe, sure, okay.
Yeah, own a few million cars.
Yeah, a few cars.
Islands.
A restaurant in Puerto Rico. Yeah, I like to own a restaurant in Puerto Rico. Sure, why not?
Yeah, I want to buy the whole island where the restaurant is.
You want to open up a bank in Alabama? Sure, I'll buy a bank in Alabama.
Yeah, it must be nice.
I mean, the diversity of their portfolios.
Can I write you a check?
Enough to make a guy jealous. TC, are you ready for the feel-good song, or is it too early?
Let's save it for. I tell you what. Let's tease him with it because this is a good one. This is really good. You got to sit through O'Reilly for this one.
We're gonna tease you with it.
Yeah.
By the way, this is funny. My feel-good song is always different than TC's because I don't know what he's going to play. So we put a different one up on the blog and newsletter and Facebook. So you actually get two feel-good songs, one on my Facebook and one that TC chooses here. The song that I chose today, which we're not going to play, but this is our new, I Wanna Rock by Twisted Sister. And the reason why I thought about that is I was riding the limousine on the way to my daughter's wedding with everybody in the limousine, and these young men were playing their favorite music on the iPod through the limo, and the entire wedding party on the way to the wedding were singing I Wanna Rock, and it was a special moment. And I thought of that over the weekend. I want to give Oracle status.
Oh, yeah.
To Moeller's baseball team. Congratulations, Big Mo Crusaders. State champs.
Really? All right.
I don't care who you are, what you are. The bottom line is you win a state championship in anything, that's a hell of an accomplishment.
Bring it back home. Bring that trophy back home.
Good history story that I won't cover on the air. On the blog newsletter about Alexander Graham Bell. And our famous Cincinnati, and again, you can check it out on the blog or newsletter, is Lafcadio Hearn. I don't know if he's the Thomas Hearn's great-grandfather or not. I have no idea. Now, I've got a joke. How much time we got left of this segment?
We got about a minute here.
I'm going to save this joke. This joke is too good.
Here's something that you might be interested in.
And I'm going to protect the identity of who sent me this joke. I'm going to tell you off the air.
Okay.
But who sent this joke is even better, TC.
Okay. Well, there's a new book, some excerpts in the New York Times over the weekend, that the United States has been quietly waging a secret cyber war designed to bring down the Iranian nuclear program. Remember, we've been thinking it was Israel?
Oh.
There's some information here that says the Bush administration started it, but the Obama administration's kind of sped up the process.
And there's information that Russia's the problem in Syria.
Yeah.
You know what it is? They don't have people. They're not torturing people in Russia anymore, so they want to go do something somewhere else.
Right.
We missed this.
Exactly.
We come back. Radio Suburban and Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Have you ever had somebody say, pour some sugar on me?
No, I have not.
I did once. I said, would you like brown sugar? White sugar? Whole grain sugar? No, I have not. Nobody's ever asked me to pour. I'm just joking around.
Well, definitely don't pour sugar on anybody in New York.
I don't know if you guys are. I know everybody out there is UK basketball fan or hater, but the University of Kentucky lost a game. It was like 8-7 to Kent State over the weekend. Third longest game in NCAA history. They played 21 innings. Okay, let me see. If you got 4 bats at 9 innings, so 10, 8, you probably got 10 bats. How would somebody feel if they went 0 for 10? That's bad, man.
You're in a slump.
Man, I had a bad game. I was 0 for 10 that game.
It'd kill your average, wouldn't it?
That would kill your average. There's a plane crash in Nigeria. Apparently, the pilot was American, and there's no survivors, which is sad to report. Sad to report. Good old Nigeria. Plane crash. Hit like a downtown, I think.
Yeah, it hit maybe an apartment complex or a couple of buildings. America's Morning News, or AP was reporting that. They said about 150 people, I think, they think died in that.
And Shakespeare for your day is short and sweet. Be not dismayed. If you're feeling down, be not dismayed. Weekend box office. Snow White and the Huntsman, 56,255. And I saw that movie with my wife on Saturday afternoon, and I give it a thumbs up. I tell you right now, Charlize Theron is incredible as the witch. Incredible. She's the most evil, beautiful woman you're ever going to see on screen.
That's the way we like them.
And Thor plays the huntsman, and he does a great job. The guy that plays Thor plays huntsman.
So this is Snow White and
and Kristen Stewart. Put it this way, this is not your mom and dad's Disney automated video. I mean, your animated video. But it was good. Men in Black is number 2. Avenger still brings in $20 million.
Cha-ching.
And it is now the largest grossing movie release ever.
Who knew Rick Huntsman could act?
In some disgusting news, Octomom has booked a gig at Tee's Lounge in West Palm Beach, Florida, for her first stint as a stripper.
Tee's Lounge.
She said she was going to do, quote unquote, those kind of movies. Now she's going to be a stripper. And I'll tell you right now, folks, I don't think there's any worse spot to be in than when they're getting ready to announce the winner of Miss USA or Miss America, and you're the 2 girls standing there, and they announce, and you're not it. I mean, that's got to be the worst. And the winner is, sorry about your luck, get over here.
They have to practice that smile and that fake hug to, congratulatory hug to the winner.
And the winner is Olivia Culpo, C-U-L-P-O, from Rhode Island. And after watching on the news, I concur. They chose well.
Rhode Island
They
red.
chose well. The Rhode Island brunette beauty, Olivia.
I've got a disgusting news story for you.
Give us the disgusting news story.
Now, you're safe, I guess, because you have your own pool.
Yes.
But if you're taking a dip in the pool with 4 other people, odds are this is according to Yahoo News, one of you is urinating. Not a myth. They did a poll. The Water Quality and Health Council didn't know we had such a thing. Hope they never investigate the green water people. And they conducted about 1,000 adults, not kids. 1,000 adults were surveyed.
Everybody be honest, particularly lazy guys.
Come on, how lazy?
I've peed in the pool.
Oh, dude, how lazy?
You've never peed in the pool?
Not since I was 4.
Well, I didn't say sometime. Sometime you peed in the pool. I didn't say I did it last week. Maybe it was a month ago.
Remind me not to go swimming at your house.
All right, TC, you're the producer. Are you ready with the feel-good song?
Yes, I am ready. Are you ready for the feel-good song?
I am ready for the feel-good song. Nice selection, by the way. I can see it.
I figured you would like this one.
Good song,
Monday
baby.
morning, get you going, get back in the groove song.
Jackson Brown. He put an E on the end of Brown. He wanted to be a different kind of brown.
Yeah. Make him a brownie.
Brownie. I love that other song he does, but it's not too slow for a feel-good song. What's it called? Don't Come and Take My Piano. What's that called?
Oh,
Stay. I love Stay. TC, sometimes I feel like I'm running on empty.
I know that feeling. You need to get a good night's sleep. That's what you need. More coffee.
And more caffeine.
See, it's warm enough now you can roll the windows down and everybody can, be like kind of like the concert. It's a live version.
We got cool on Saturday.
Yeah, that felt pretty good, though.
Then it warmed back up. It did feel good.
Got hot late in the day.
Hot. My wife went to summer fair yesterday at Coney Island. She said it was hot.
Yeah. Is that fun?
Yeah. Her and her mother went. Of course, I was working.
As always. As it should be.
The way it should be. TC, did you know the Jacksons are going to have a unity tour?
They are.
Why?
A unity tour?
And they've announced they're canceling. They start out their tour by canceling Louisville and Cincinnati shows due to scheduling conflicts.
Oh.
So they're not very united.
No, not at all. Well, if they're not going to come here, then fine. We'll just have choir games.
Carly Simon plans to finish writing a book about her life by the end of the year. Bulldog note, will she tell us who she wrote that song for? Of course, we all know it's Warren Beatty. I swear, it's got to be. That song is Warren Beatty to the T.
Probably some guy she knew like in 6th grade.
Right. That'd be funny. Christian Bale got emotional over Heath Ledger at the MTV Awards. In quite an interesting story. Is texting ruining the art of conversation? Well, of course it is.
Duh.
But I want to tell you one good thing about texting. There's more than one good thing about texting. You know, you can text when you got to be quiet. And you can still deliver a message like, hey, can you pick up the kids?
Yeah,
I mean, I like texting.
Right.
The other thing is you can fight without the yelling.
Exactly. So you put it in all caps.
Hey,
stop yelling at me.
Everybody who's married or been in relationships, am I not right? Sometimes fighting by text is the best.
But you can also start a fight with text by not meaning to.
That's true, too.
Because people can very easily misunderstand.
Well, that's the problem.
It's happened.
You don't feel emotion. You got to be more descriptive through email and texting to make sure people don't get the wrong message.
And you got to make sure that when you hit the send button, that the text is going to the person for whom it was intended.
5135. That's very important. 513-579-1160. 513-579-1160. If anybody wants to comment on the fact about texting, whether or not it's better to fight through texting or not, and how do you fight with your texting?
That's pretty safe because you don't have to respond right away either.
Exactly.
That's pretty good.
You say I was tied up, man. Here's my problem. Everybody is so spoiled that texts me because I text back so quick that if I don't text back, they think I'm dead. Bulldog, where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Turn on the radio. Is he on? Oh, okay. He's on the radio. That's good. You know, interesting story about Carly Simon. I met her once. Very beautiful up close. You think she looks good on the album cover? Oh, man.
Looks even better?
Yes, she does. Very short. Shorter than I am, but very nice.
Shorter than you?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
that's a shocker.
Maybe about 5'2".
Because you're short.
She's about 5'2", I think. Very friendly, and she has stage fright.
Really? I didn't know that.
Loves talking to people backstage, but she says, she got over it, obviously. But
she has beautiful lips.
She does. Oh, she does.
Did you get to kiss her lips?
No, I was with my wife at the time. But I thought about it.
You're looking, man, I had to kiss her.
I lusted in my heart.
She does. She's got good lips. Pretty face.
Yeah. And very friendly, very nice.
Could the difference in the number of campaign field offices between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama make a difference in a close election in Ohio? Apparently, Obama has more field offices than Romney. Let me tell you what my opinion is. It's not going to matter. He's not going to win Ohio.
Now, didn't he just open up a campaign office over in Cheviot?
Yeah, probably.
Isn't that Republican country?
Yeah. Obama's going to lose Ohio. That's what I think. Drivers were polled, and they say no Brent Spence tolls to pay for the bridge and no gas tyke either. Bottom line is drivers are just like everybody else that gets something from the government. They want their bridge without paying for it.
Yeah. You're right.
I think that's sad but true. Don't you agree?
You'll kill a lot of interstate commerce if you put a toll on there.
By the way, I got to share something last night. On the Game of Thrones, there was a scene. A king of one of the provinces was surrounded, held up in his castle, and his only men were mercenaries, and he decided to fight to the death. So he went out and he talked to his mercenaries, and he gave this long, inspiring speech, and his men yelled back with approval, fight to the death kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then out of nowhere, they knocked him out and said, let's go home. One guy said, great speech. I mean, it was so funny because this is kind of a serious show, and I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, he gave this right, and they're all going, yeah. And all of a sudden, boom, they knocked him out and said, let's go home. They weren't going to fight to the death for that king.
No, I got things to do tomorrow.
When we come back, I'm going to tell you about my cross training, and I still have that joke that I keep teasing you with. This is the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.
1160 is on Facebook. You can go to realtalk1160.com/Facebook, and you can check out your favorite talk show host. And you can also find out what's going on behind the scenes here at Real Talk 1160. Right now, let's get back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160, coming up at 8:35. They're calling it 8:25. They call it 8:25. Won't be able to talk to you as long. Greg Weckenbrock, Dr. Greg Weckenbrock from the Figure Weight Loss Center in Edgewood is going to be joining us, a new sponsor of the show. And I also want to thank all the other sponsors. I mean, Ropke Automotive. I always forget some of them. Montgomery Inn, Snappy Tomato Pizza. You know who you are. We love you. Okay, the joke. And I was tickled to get this joke from this person who will name anonymous. But here's the joke of the day. A little humor for you. An Amish lady is trotting down the road in her horse and buggy when she's pulled over by a cop. "Ma'am," said the cop, "I'm not going to ticket you, but I do have to issue a warning. You have a broken reflector on your buggy." You believe he pulled her over for a broken reflector. "Oh, I'll let my husband Jacob." Are all Amish men named Jacob? "No, as soon as I get home," responded the Amish lady. "That's fine. Another thing, ma'am. I don't like the way that one rein loops across the horse's back and down around one of his testicles. I consider that animal abuse. Have your husband take care of that right away," instructed the cop. Later that day, the lady is at home telling her husband about her encounter with the cop. "Well, dear, what exactly did he say?" asked Jacob. "Well, he said the reflector is broken," replied the lady. "I can fix that in 2 minutes. What else?" said Jacob, irritated at the cop. "I'm not sure," said his wife. "Something about the emergency brake."
Yeah, that's a joke, son.
That was good. Poor horse.
I gotta tell you
Poor horse.
I gotta tell you who sent me that at the break. It's funny.
All right. Poor horse.
TC, I have now lost on this figure weight loss diet. I have lost 12 pounds.
Nice.
I noticed over the weekend, it's been 12. I guess it's been, let me see, it's been about 11 days. I can see my face getting thinner. Do you see it in the webcast, my face being thinner? I like when my face is thin, so I look like skinny Bulldog, not fat Bulldog like Elvis. And I'm doing cross training. I'm mixing it up a little bit. On Saturday night, I hit the heavy bag for 30 minutes. And I can tell you right now, my left jab and my right punch is quick. 30 minutes I beat on that heavy bag. And then I rode the bike. This is funny. I didn't feel like going up on the road. I rode my bike around the circle for 30 minutes in the cul-de-sac. And I didn't get dizzy, but I had a bike workout. Sometimes I just don't feel like going out on the road. You know what I mean? We have let me see, we already covered that. The Reds, the Cincinnati Reds, fell 5-3. Bronson pitch, and they failed to complete the series sweep of Houston, but it doesn't make any difference. They are, I think, 3.5 or 2.5 up. How do you like that? Tonight we play the Pirates. Can we just beat the Pirates, Reds, please? Homer, can you just beat the Pirates?
Are we at home?
Yes.
Good, because we don't want to go back to Pittsburgh for a while.
No, we returned from the homestand.
Crazy stuff happened in Pittsburgh.
And last night, the Celtics beat the Heat 93-91 in overtime. Celtics had a huge lead. The Heat comes back, and they had a 16-point lead in the second half. And the Heat had a chance to win it in regulation, and they had a chance to win it in overtime. Dwayne Wade missed the three. LeBron James had fouled out. Reports are, Chris Bosh might be, he's been practicing with the team, and I think they've been holding him out. I'll bet you if they won last night, he would not play in Miami in 2 days. But I'll bet you he does now. All hands on deck. Or they'll just play it by ear. Who knows? The third game of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals is tonight at 8 o'clock. Kings versus Devils. Folks, I watched both of these games, and incredible. The Kings beat the Devils in New Jersey twice in overtime, 2-1. And I tell you right now, the goal that was scored Saturday night by Dowdy was incredible. He's a defenseman. He just skated all the way down, through people, goal. It's incredible. And the goalie of the Kings, Jonathan Quick, I think he blocked like 90 shots. I tell you right now, playoff hockey is old-time hockey. It's fun to watch. I love watching playoff hockey. And it's the Stanley Cup Finals, it's even better. I'm rooting for the Kings. My wife said that she does not like anything about New Jersey. I didn't even mention Bruce Springsteen. She doesn't like the Devils. Jimmy Johnson won at the Dover International Speedway. And the biggest news really over the weekend in sports was this. Tiger Woods chipped in a birdie on the 16th hole from 50 feet away, and he won the Memorial Golf Tournament and tied Jack Nicklaus for the 73rd title. He's second now.
About time you brought something home.
Is Tiger back?
Who knows?
They asked him, is the old Tiger back? And he says, I'm an older Tiger. Olympic gold medalist Shawn Johnson ended her comeback, and she's got some knee problems. She says, I'm done. And Terrell Owens has given the Allen Wranglers an ultimatum. Issue a public apology and cut him a check for more than $160,000 he claims they owe him, or he'll take them to court.
Uh-oh. Would you take that case?
You know what? Each case lives and dies on its own. It's based on the facts and the law.
Yeah.
Seriously. You know, these people that think, whether a case is a good case or a bad case is all based upon the facts and the law. Bill Maher owns a stake in the New York Mets.
Really?
Yes.
Comedians own baseball teams. Basketball players own soccer teams.
Yep. The stand-up comic and political satirist was at Citi Field on Sunday and revealed that he bought a minority share of team months ago. They're desperate for money.
He bought the minorities?
I got to ask you a question, TC.
Yeah.
If you were as rich as Bill Maher, of all the major sports teams that you could buy into, would you buy into the Mets?
Probably got a really good deal. She's a fixer-upper.
I want
miles.
Some good news for the Al Gore lovers today. Recently unearthed photographs taken by Danish explorers in the 1930s show glaciers in Greenland retreating faster than they are today.
That's for both of them. Both of the Al Gore fans.
Yes, both of them.
That's a sad story over here.
TC, when I hear stories about like this, I feel very inferior. A guy named Shou Yan Ho, probably from China, Shou Yan Ho, a 21-year-old Chicago man who began college. This is the real Doogie Howser, folks. He began college at the age of 9.
Wow.
Medical school at the age of 12. Is about to become the youngest student ever awarded an MD by the University of Chicago. They must have some kind of law that you got to be 21 because he finished medical school at 12.
Wow. Well, I guess you can't just give a kid a knife and let him go operate.
You know what, folks? He's smarter than Doogie Howser. Doogie Howser was 18. 12 years old, he finished. This guy has got, God just went, whew.
Slacker.
Talk about being blessed.
That is incredible. That is incredible.
Can you imagine walking into an ER room or a primary care physician and there's a 12-year-old kid telling you what you need to do or not do?
All of a sudden, I feel fine. I'm good. No, I can't have a 12-year-old operating.
I couldn't, man. The surgery that'd be, oh my God.
I wonder what he's like during adolescence.
I wonder what kind of medicine he's going to go into.
That's a good question.
That'd be interesting, isn't it?
Sad story here. Did you see this about Richard Dawson? He passed away yesterday.
Yeah, Hogan's Heroes guy. We like Hogan's Heroes.
Feud.
Richard Dawson, Family Feud. He started the thing about kissing all the contestants.
He sure did, didn't he?
There were some awkward moments on that show with him doing that.
I'll bet, yeah. I'm sure
Richard Dawson.
Some of the dads didn't like that.
May he rest in peace. When we come back, we have more Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. You know what, folks? George Zimmerman, the former Neighborhood Watch volunteer, who was charged with murder and the killing of Trayvon Martin, surrendered to police Sunday and was booked in the Central Florida jail 2 days after his bond was revoked for lying about his finances. During the bond hearing, they apparently said, hey, we don't have any money, don't have any money. When their website apparently had garnered $200,000 in donations. So he's in a little bit of trouble. His bond has been revoked. He's got a report. His lawyer says misunderstanding, and we'll see if we can get him back out. Here's the bad thing about it, though, is intent matters. It really does. Intent matters. And in this particular situation, you've got a situation where he apparently, with his wife on the the recorded meetings and phone and whatnot, phone calls to the prison. By the way, folks, if you're ever in prison, they record and they're allowed to listen because you don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy.
He's on Citizen Patrol. Didn't he read the manual on that stuff?
He should have.
Should have known better.
But they talked in code, like $8.36 tacos was $83,000.
Whoa.
So they can show that he intentionally was lying.
Wow. That does not look good. Now, will that can that be admissible in court?
Yeah, that he lied, yeah. Probably.
Not good, not good.
Good old George Zimmerman. His lawyer says, other than that, he was doing good.
Other than that, he was fine.
I don't know. Maybe he gets scolded and raise his bond, let him back out. Here, folks, I don't think people realize this. If you're not in jail, the taxpayers aren't having to pay for you.
That's true. Now, is he a flight risk?
No, I don't think so. You think he's a flight risk?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that.
Maybe he is. I don't know. But, I don't think he is.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But he's a little unstable, in my opinion.
The Jerry Sandusky trial, remember he's the third hated man in America, according to the New York Post poll, is getting underway this week. And I'm telling you, folks, this is not going – it's going to be hard to watch because the lawyer representing him is going to have to cross-examine credibility of 8 young men, boys involved in this stuff. Yeah, my God. You know, that story where that guy saw him in the shower, and he said they were just roughhousing. Who roughhouses naked in a shower with a kid?
No. Not in this country.
You know, you hate to look at somebody in the context of what you already know about him, as opposed before you knew something about him.
Right.
But just watching his mannerisms and looking at him, knowing what we know now.
Right.
He kind of comes off a little creepy, doesn't he?
Well, your perception is different now.
Right, my perception is different.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
But see, sometimes when you know something about somebody, you still look at him and say, nah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Look at, like, celebrities. You see them on television or in a movie, and then you found out, they've done something horrific in the past. Like, really?
Right.
That guy?
Right. Let me see here. The Justice Department has grown increasingly restless with the attorney fees, often exceeding $1,000 an hour when companies go through bankruptcy organization. $1,000 an hour? Sheezel, Pete.
How long does it take just to write down your creditors and how much you owe them? Done.
A federal appeals court is set to hear arguments this week over the legality of a Texas rule that bans Planned Parenthood clinics in the state from a program subsidizing health services for uninsured, low-income women. Texas is tough.
They are very.
Do not commit a crime in Texas. You will go to jail.
Or do not get pregnant in Texas if you don't have insurance.
TC, did you hear the story about the White House encounter as being reported by the Attorney General Eric Holder and David Axelrod, who had to be separated?
Really? No. What happened?
They were in a meeting. And, Axelrod yesterday on television did not deny it. They went chest to chest.
Oh.
They went at it. They went to the same high school together, David Axelrod said. Holder has said it became incensed after Axelrod accused him, he accused Axelrod of complaining publicly about political interference in his office. In other words, Eric Holder is saying that Axelrod was trying to politically influence. They wanted to put a political person at the Justice Department. And apparently that's like Eric Holder's Justice Department and everybody else's Justice Department wasn't political.
I would think justice might come from, I don't know, crime prevention.
Nixon didn't have any bones about it. If he didn't like his attorney general, he just fired him. Valerie Jarrett, the watchdog, apparently came between them. You had Valerie Jarrett breaking up Eric Holder and David Axelrod.
They all listen to her, don't they?
Yeah.
She's running that
She
place.
said, take him out to the hall.
Take him out for lashing.
Apparently Holder said, that's bull.
Did he really?
The two men stood chest to chest. It was like a schoolyard fight. All right.
Say that?
Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, who do you take in that fight? I take Axelrod. He's a mean, tough-looking, kind of look like Eastern European mafia guy. Hitman. Eric Holder's too. I don't know, Eric Holder comes off kind of sissy.
I don't know. He's
What do you
shifty.
think?
He's
What do you
shifty.
think? Shifty?
Yeah.
You think Holder can take Axelrod?
Yeah, he might have a couple of leg moves or something, a couple of kicks. You never know.
You never know. God, can you imagine if that was like they got in a fight and it was captured on video and went, oh my God.
See if that's on YouTube.
By the way, that hurts Obama.
Yeah.
I mean, this incident hurts Obama.
Yeah, it does.
You got your Justice Department and your former chief of staff, the guy that's running your national campaign, your number one spokesperson, having a fight. The inside circle, it's even worse. The fundraising people, everybody else, they're saying, man, you guys are falling apart over there.
Do I want to put my money behind this? Or
it's not good. It was like if Chuck and I got in a big fight that was captured on YouTube, people would think Bulldog Nation was going down.
Hey, is there a fight like that? See if there is something like that. Let me check.
I can tell you a funny story about one that we yelled at each other. It was kind of funny. We already covered this about Nancy Pelosi and everybody else talking about good old Hillary in 2016. Pelosi actually said, why shouldn't she run? She's a magnificent Secretary of State. She's our shot that year. Joe Biden said, hey, man, what about me? You watch Joe Biden, Hillary said, hey, Joe, you want to be vice president again? Yeah, sure, man. I do that. Good job doing that.
Yeah.
Hey,
That'll be it.
I'll say something stupid whenever you want me to take attention away from something you did.
That's his purpose.
That's his purpose.
That's why he's there.
If you want to look as smart and smooth and polished as possible as president, you pick Joe as your vice president.
I guess that explains Dan Quayle.
Oh, my God. I couldn't stand Dan Quayle.
I see what the Democrats are doing. They learned from the Republicans. Remember, I kept saying the Republicans gave the election to President Obama. They gave it to him. They said, there's no chance, but let him have it. Let him have it. And now the Democrats are looking, we're going to give this one to Mitt Romney. We're going to get ready for 2016.
I agree.
That's what they're going to do.
They're going to say, see ya. And how about this? Barack Obama maintains that John McCain was nicer. John McCain, he also supported climate change and he supported election reform. John McCain was nice to run against, and now the Republicans, they're just all in a totally different direction. Guess what, Barack? I would think you'd like John McCain. You beat him.
That's true.
Is that hilarious? He is
true.
complaining that the Republicans aren't nice like John McCain.
Well, they're really not.
That is so funny. McCain, what you mean to tell me you caught last night on video Barack Obama with a prostitute snorting crack cocaine? No, I don't want to use that on my campaign. I'm not going to use that on my campaign.
Hypothetically speaking, I think that President Obama and Senator McCain have a mutual respect for each other because right after the election, the first thing when Obama gave his speech, first thing he said, I want to thank Senator John McCain for his service to our country. Very first thing he said before he went through the yes we did and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Sarah Jessica Parker is doing an ad that touts Obama as that guy who created jobs. I am going to burn my Sex and the City DVDs.
Wait, let me have it.
Okay.
That guy who created jobs?
I like the show, but come on, Sarah Jessica. Listen, okay, the guy who ended the war in Iraq, the guy who says you should be able to marry anyone you want, the guy who created 4 million jobs, that guy, President Obama and his wife, Michelle, are coming to my house for dinner on June 14th. Parker says to the camera, asking for sweepstakes donations. Sarah Jessica, can we come on over? I want to meet Matthew Broderick.
Yeah. This is some guy that ended the war in Iraq. This is some guy that created jobs. This is some guy that allows you to marry anybody you want.
I want to meet Ferris Bueller. Coming up after the news at the bottom of the hour, Greg Weckenbrock, the tout figure weight loss. We'll have some fun. I'll ask him some tough questions. Although they've given me the week 1 topic. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.
8:19, we're 11 minutes away from Mike Huckabee and the Huckabee Report. Straight up at 8:30 here on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Bulldog Nation member Justin says that we are coming in loud and clear in Panama City, Florida,
nice.
Via TuneIn Radio.
Nice.
How do you like that? For TuneIn Radio, folks, you can listen to us anytime, anywhere.
The app works. That's a good thing.
The app works. The Democrat running for governor in Wisconsin, and tomorrow's the big vote. And Scott Walker's up like 7 points, I think. is named Tom Barrett. I wonder if he's related to John Barrett, who runs Western Southern, and Judge Michael Barrett, the federal judge in Southern District of Ohio. I would guess not, because they are very Republican. Unless they maybe disowned a sibling. They might have disowned a sibling and said, "You're out of the family. You're a Democrat." And he moved to Milwaukee, and he ran.
Oh, they let him. They're keeping him in the family. There's a lot of love there. Look at
the next time I'm in federal court, I'm going to have to ask that.
Hey, look, Arnold's surrounded by all those Kennedys.
Yeah,
and he's pretty Republican.
Tom Barrett, is he the abandoned child, abandoned sibling? Glenn, you're on Real Talk 1160. Make all my audience mad. Go ahead.
Why, by saying something intelligent? That's how you make your audience mad. Just put it in a book. They'll never find it. No, I just wanted to call in and actually agree with TC when you talked about the comparisons between the McCain campaign.
How come you never agree with me?
Well, because you're pretty much wrong all the time. But the difference between the McCain campaign and the Romney campaign, TC's absolutely right. There is a mutual respect between John McCain and Barack Obama, and it was based on their time in the Senate. It was also based on the fact that during the campaign in 2008, that John McCain was willing to shut down the birther movement, shut down old white women who come to his campaign event saying, "I don't trust Barack Obama because he's an Arab and he's a Muslim." Unlike Mitt Romney, who aligns himself with birthers and bigots like Donald Trump, John McCain wouldn't do that. And even after John McCain lost, he was still respected as an American hero and a great war veteran. Unlike Mitt Romney, who said
McCain was a wimp.
Who was a wimp?
McCain was a wimp. He was a
Hold
terrible
on. McCain fought for this damn country. He was tortured by the enemy. For some guy like you to never put on a damn uniform before, you owe that man an apology.
I'm not going to apologize to John McCain. He was a wimpy politician.
So it makes you a wimp so it makes you a wimp because you won't play the race card.
I got to ask you a question.
It makes you a wimp because you don't play the birther card. What does that say about you? What does that say about your party? Like I said before.
I'm not in a party. I'm a libertarian.
What
I'm
makes
independent.
So being a non-racist makes you a wimp? Being a non-birther makes you a wimp?
No, being a wimp is when you don't want to fight and save your country from Barack Obama. That's called being a wimp. John McCain, you know what? I love the way that people can't discern different things. Like, for example, on this radio show, the only radio show, television show, or media outlet in the tri-state that reads and honors the fallen soldiers every single day. Okay? So, if you put on a uniform, does that mean when you come home, no matter what you do, we're supposed to bless it? For example, if somebody comes back in a uniform and commits an armed bank robbery and shoots somebody, you can't do that. John McCain was an American hero that he got. He was captured. He was tortured. John McCain was an American hero. That does not change the fact when it came to running for president, he was a wimp.
He wasn't a bank robber, though.
No, but he was a wimp. I didn't call him a bank robber. He was a wimp. TC, I have talked to the insiders in the Hamilton County Republican Party, okay?
Yeah.
There was zero organization, zero communication. He just wanted to I'm going to be Mr. Nice Guy. He was a terrible candidate. It was almost like, well, it's John McCain's turn to try to run for president.
I can't argue with you on that.
How ridiculous is it that the Barack Obama people are saying, well, we should... Yeah, because you beat him. What do you think, prankster?
I have a question for Glenn. What's he mean, this damn country? That's not very American and patriotic. I don't like that. Do you like that, Bulldog? TC?
That's a good point.
TC,
he damned America, didn't he?
Yeah, and TC, he doesn't like that. Do you, TC?
It doesn't bother me. I think it was done with passion more than
No, I
anything.
think it was truly what he is.
No, I think it was
this
the
damn
passion.
Prankster, can you not...
Hey, Glenn, go to hell, man.
That's not necessary. Come on.
You dumped that, didn't you?
Let it slide this time, but that's not
necessary. You should have dumped that.
He lost his privileges. Somebody else can take his place.
Governor Bob McDonnell gives Obama credit for Virginia's economy. Did the stimulus help us in the short run with health care and education and spending? Sure. Does it help us in the long term to really cut unemployment rate? I'd say no. I agree with that. You got to say no to that. Chuck Norris, by the way, TC,
Yes.
has come out to support Scott Walker. Walker for Walker.
Hey, that's nice.
He says the vote for Scott Walker. Again, it's kind of nice when you're up 7 points. I think I'm going to support. David Axelrod on Rubio for VP. It would be an insult to the Hispanic community if Mitt Romney chose Marco Rubio as his running mate in an effort to obscure his record on immigration issues. Okay, so don't you love politicians? So selecting an Hispanic for the first time to run on a presidential ticket would be an insult to the Hispanic community. By the way, the Senate election in Massachusetts between Elizabeth Warren and Republican Scott Brown is in a dead heat. How do you like that? Financially, this is interesting. I wonder what people think of this. Financially struggling schools nationwide are increasing the volume of advertising that children see in the halls, at football games, and even on the report cards. I'll tell you right now, folks, in this day and age, are you kidding me? You know, we have how much time till the break?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right. I don't want to take that call now.
Okay.
Shouldn't I wait so we can talk longer? Dr. Greg Weckenbrock, hold on till after the news or call back in 2 minutes so I can talk to you longer because we only have a minute and a half to the break. I don't know what you all think of that, but you know what? In today's economy and everything else that's going on, does it bother you that a school? I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be nice if you didn't have to, but why not? I mean, if somebody wants to advertise in school, you get to approve the ad, you get to approve the advertisement, you get to approve the content. You're not going to let somebody come in and advertise something aren't going to allow for the kids. But why not? What do you think, TC?
I was on the phone with the doctor. I missed half the conversation.
What do you think about advertising in schools? Letting businesses advertise in schools, at stadiums, gymnasiums, football fields?
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary?
Yes. Well, I can see why schools would want it. It helps their bottom line. It depends. It depends what they're advertising. I don't want to see a Pepsi machine or a Coke machine in the school cafeteria.
Really?
Yes, I'm dead serious.
Are you a supporter of Mayor Bloomberg?
I think that kids that don't – no, this is a fact. Kids
By the way, we'll ask
Dr.
Dr. Greg Weckenbrock about that.
No kidney disease. You don't drink pop, you won't get a kidney disease. You start kids off that way. They don't need to have a pop machine in the locker room.
Real Talk 1160 could sponsor a football field. We could have our logo on the 50-yard line, TC. Real Talk 1160 logo on the 50-yard line.
Well, that'd be different.
All right. Facebook is developing technology that would allow children younger than 13, that's it, get them hooked, to use the social networking site under parental supervision, a step that could help the company tap a new pool of users for revenue, but also inflame privacy concerns. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, as a parent who has time to monitor your kid on Facebook, I just say, hey, you're too young to get on Facebook.
And how do you monitor them when they've got a phone and they're somewhere else and you're not with them 24 hours a day?
If you're overweight, tune in. Coming up will be Dr. Greg Weckenbrock. We're going to have some fun. Lose some weight on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. TC, would you oppose green water being placed in schools?
Now, that's a little different. By the way, some guy with a microphone told me the real story about baling hay last weekend.
Are we going to hear that later?
Yeah, we'll hear that later. Find out what really happened.
All right, joining us now is Dr. Greg Weckenbrock, who I called Mark the entire time Friday, from the Figure Weight Loss Center, and we're happy to have him on board. Dr. Greg Weckenbrock, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Bulldog?
Listen, to lay the groundwork for this, and you're going to be calling in on Mondays with some tips and some ideas and everything else, and we all know that America is overweight. Why don't you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the American Jury and Bulldog Nation the history of the Figure Weight Loss Center, how it got started, and what makes it the area leader in weight loss?
This practice got started back in 1999 by Dr. Lenigan, who is actually a transplant surgeon, but he saw that the obesity crisis had started even then, and he was doing more transplants than he thought was necessary because of weight impacting with blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, impacting those organs. And he started this program to try and delay the need for transplants and get these people healthy. And that's why he started the program, and basically he took it from there, and I took it over about 2 years ago, and it is basically a shoot off of family practice, which is what I'm board certified in, and that is how we keep going. I still run it just like a family practice, with the same put the patient first. That is our main goal, and we do keep it simple, and I think that's why we do so well here. It's not complex. This is not taking it out, over the top. It's not expensive. We try to keep it affordable because there's a lot of people in all different kinds of socioeconomic groups that need the weight loss help, and that's why we do keep it simple and affordable. You
know, one of the things that I learned from going through the program at Figure Weight Loss, when I went through it, I got evaluated and all that. Then I waited and I got to listen to you talk and listen to you speak. The one thing that I was impressed with a lot of things, but the thing I was most impressed with is the Figure Weight Loss. What you guys do and what you focus on is say, hey, you're going to help people get going. You're going to help like somebody like me get going. But you really do focus on the nutrition and the exercise and the importance of that. So once people get the weight off, they can keep it off. And as you pointed out, lifestyle. By the way, Dr. Weckenbrock, your little speech that you gave, I don't forget how long it was, but your little talk was very, very good.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It does, I'm old enough to have some life experiences. I've been through the mill, and I know what it's like you see in my lecture. It is a day-to-day thing. You have to just get up every morning and decide who's going to win this battle, me or you. And of course, I'm sure you're winning your battle.
I've lost 11 pounds. I'm dieting. I'm exercising. I feel so much. My face is getting thinner. Let me tell you another thing.
No, that's sad.
No. It's still ugly. I just said it was thinner. But Dr. Weckenbrock from Figure Weight Loss, I want to say this, something that just struck me. Actually, I put it in my iPhone while I was sitting there while you were giving your discussion. I was looking around the room, and I thought to myself, and you said this because you told everybody there, he goes, hey, you've made the decision to get this thing started. You've made, good for you that you've made. And it struck me when you said that, and I'm looking around the room, and I thought to myself, Americans, to stay fit and trim is tough because of the lifestyle, the stress. Yes. I think America's full of stress eaters, including me.
Oh, sure.
And then you've got all of the great food out there that everybody loves to eat in no time. And you know what? My heart went out to every single person in that room because nobody in that room wanted to be where they are with their weight.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to, but it is just so hard in America these days to lose weight.
Oh, it is nearly impossible because we are deluged every turn. With the fast food industry.
And it all tastes good.
And it does. It does. And come on, food is good for us.
Right.
We wouldn't be this way if we didn't love to eat. But we're using food for a whole bunch of things that it's not, and mostly it's nutrition. But it can also be a lot of psychological things that go into eating. And you're right. Weight loss is such a personal matter, and people come here because they are either they want to get control of this issue, and they just need that help, and it takes some of these people a long time to finally realize, hey, look, I've got a problem, and it's time to do something about it. Whether they have their first heart attack, or whether they get diagnosed with diabetes, or whatever that linchpin is that puts them over the top. We're all the same here. We want to help you. We're going to give you the help, but it is part of you too. You do have to every day decide, all right, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing, because you're going to have bad days and good days, like I tell you.
Right.
And you push through those bad days, and it does get easier.
Anybody out there in Bulldog Nation, ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, if you want to contact the Figure Weight Loss, which is a physician-supervised weight loss, you can call 859-371-4555 or Figure, easy to remember, folks, FigureWeightLoss.com, FigureWeightLoss.com in Edgewood. And you can email me too, Eric@EricDeters.com. I'll send the information. Well, Dr. Weckenbrock, thanks for getting us started.
Sure thing.
I look forward to the lesson that you're like our professor of weight loss. So I'm looking forward to next week when I discuss with you. I do want to say one little thing quick. This is how good this program works. I usually devour popcorn and peanut M&Ms in a movie,
Yeah.
I only ate half of what I usually do.
Good for you.
All right, Dr. Weckenbrock,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. He's doing the good Lord's work, man, trying to help people get skinny.
It sounds like a good guy, too.
He is a good guy.
Very sincere.
I tell you right now, his talk was awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. I hate to say this, but I had a epiphany. My thoughts about overweight people changed.
Really?
I mean, I'm much more sympathetic,
Yeah.
especially going through some of the same things I go through. Like I'm telling you right now, I'm a stress eater.
That's a lot of-
And look at all the stress that's out there that everybody has. I'll guarantee
True.
everybody in
That's
that
true.
room, I'm sure they had stress.
That's probably one of the biggest motivators, that and just being hungry. But I mean,
Right.
just eating just to
Speaking of weight
make yourself
loss,
feel better.
the dysentery, the dysentery drug.
great
Do we have anything from Green Water?
Why, yes, we do. This is some guy with a microphone. Remember when you was a kid and you had to bale hay on your granddad's farm? Remember how early on Memorial Day, Chuck Holbrook came and got you and your friends and told you that you had to do the lower 40 while your dad and his golf clubs did the back 9? Remember watching your dad sitting in that lawn chair in the shade, listening to feel-good songs while you and your friends were out there sweating like Hosni Mubarak right before sentencing? Well, the next time you get that sweaty feeling, try to swallow a bottle of great-tasting, slimy living green water. The stench is like no other. The only way to get it out is to sweat it out. And the best way to sweat is baling hay on your granddad's farm. So stop by and pick up some great-tasting, slimy living green water today. Available at Green Kick. That's all I got.
Hey, that was great. TC, I just want to go and endorse Green Water. If you're out there putting in hay and you get really hot and you need to be refurbished, reliquefied, Green Water.
That'll do it.
Then you can just sweat it out. Coming
for
up,
hangover, too, I think.
after this break, I watched on, I think it was Friday night, I caught Sean Hannity it was accident. I was just scrolling through, and boom,
Put on
there he
guards, you
was.
caught him?
There he was, Sean Hannity.
Is he falling out of a building?
Sean Hannity had 8 of the jurors in the John Edwards trial on.
Really?
8 of the jurors. One of them, I think, was the accused flirter. But I was fascinated, and you could tell what Hannity was expecting them to say and what they told him was not the same thing. It was different. But it was really, really good. I mean, I liked it. Yesterday on the Enquirer, mixed messages. I thought this was interesting. Front page of the Enquirer, part 1 of 3. We're unhappy with the results from our political system. Yes, we are. Mostly dissatisfied, 33%. Very dissatisfied, 39%. We think the problem, though, is the people, not the system. Yet no one gets involved to change it.
That's true.
I mean, it's this poll was very revealing. It's kind of like everybody's upset, everybody's mad, but nobody ever does anything about it. And you know what it is. I don't care, unless you're a political operative, because I used to always be like a political junkie, Alex P. Keaton, from Family Ties. Unless you're somebody that's really interested, you just don't. That's what's good about the Tea Party. But I think most Americans, you're too busy. You're too stressed. I'm not making excuses. I just understand it. I understand it.
You're working longer hours. You got to deal with the kids, get them to soccer practice or wherever they've got to
The
be.
last thing on your mind is who to vote for.
Yeah, you don't have time to try to fix the system. You
Right.
got your own issues. You
Right.
know?
It's sad, but it's true. It's just the way it is, TC.
So
Just the way it is.
39%, you said, very dissatisfied.
Very dissatisfied.
We ought to get together with those people.
Yeah. Ohio's going to be interesting. How much money can you spend on campaign ads in one state? We're going to find out that answer. We come back. I'm going to tell you what the Edwards jury had to tell Sean Hannity, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160.
49, 11 away from 9 o'clock. We got a great lineup throughout the rest of the day. After you get your dose of superbity, Laura Ingram, 9 to noon. Michael Savage is in at noon. And then Mike Huckabee, of course, at 3. Followed by Real Sports with the Wild Man, Rick, Kevin, and Jeff. Here on Real Talk 1160. And now, let's get back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. TC, ever a problem with weight?
No, I have no problem with weight.
How long have you smoked?
I quit smoking.
You did?
Yes.
Good.
But now
Do you gain weight if you don't smoke?
That's what they say. I did have a problem with weight in high school, but I was a wrestler. Wrestlers are always trying to get down to that lowest weight class. That was not. I didn't do it the healthy way like the doctor was saying, but it was foolish.
One of the best sports movies of all time is Vision Quest.
Oh yeah, I love
The
that
wrestling.
movie.
It's the wrestling movie.
Yeah, that
I
was a
love
great movie.
Shoot. He took on Shoot and beat him.
That guy was that's such a motivational movie too.
It was a motivation.
You know?
Very motivational.
Yeah.
All right, TC. The Edwards verdict. They found him not guilty on the third charge dealing with whether or not he knew this money was illegal. And Sean Hannity had on these jurors, and he had 8 of them. And I think there was 3 African Americans. All they were women. There was a businessman-looking guy. There was a young white, looked like not necessarily blue collar, but clerical kind of looking guy. There was an attractive woman, younger, and then there was another lady too. That's just kind of like what the demographics of these 8 people. And Hannity, he doesn't like Edwards, and he's a Republican. And he asked him this question, and he goes, "How many of you all really didn't care for Jonathan Edwards?" Or how did he phrase it? It was very negative. In other words, based upon all being. Raise your hand. Not one juror raised their hand. And as the dialogue back and forth developed, it was clear that this jury, they said, other than the Riel Hunter incident, there was nothing about his life that indicated that he had ever done anything bad or wrong or anything else.
Yeah.
And they actually seem to have the position that I have, which is he was publicly humiliated, so what the heck? They weren't going to beat on him anymore. They were kind of sympathetic to him. It was clear. It was clear from the dialogue they were sympathetic to all the heck that he had gone through.
Really?
Yeah.
And all you said there were 8 of them. All 8 of
Yeah.
them, 8 of them agreed on that.
Right. Now, some of the 8, there was I don't think there was a poll, so maybe 1 or 2 of them, but there were some there that were going to vote guilty on something, on some of the other charges. That's of course they were deadlocked. But then Hannity would show them clips of Edwards, like the one of him getting his hair cut, $400 haircut, and they just kind of laughed. They said, "Well, would that change your opinion?" They said, "No." Isn't that amazing that the jury was able to look past all of the crap and make a decision based upon, the political and this one she was charming. This one African American lady said, "How do you really know what he knew? I mean, how do you know?
Right.
And then, but it was very interesting. But you could tell Hannity was hoping he would say, he's a douchebag and everything else. And they were sympathetic.
It's amazing too because he's just as guilty. I mean, everyone blames the media for trying to put a slant on a story. And here he now, of course, he's doing a show and his opinions and all that. But was he really trying to trying to sway them?
Yes.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they fair and balanced. He was trying to get them to say something bad.
Right.
You could tell he was kind of shocked and puzzled by it all.
Come on.
And then he said, "Well, this just proves that the American jury system works, da 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 da." But I'm sure he was disappointed. You didn't convict him. And I'm still amazed how people still want to just convict. Geez, so Pete, man.
You're right. He went through a lot.
How about North Carolina? North Carolina is the place that has been chosen for the Democratic convention. And there's all kinds of uproar in North Carolina because of this gay marriage issue that got voted down and everything else. They have not been able to raise enough money to throw their convention as planned. I mean, the Democratic National Convention's in turmoil. And here's the problem. You want your convention to be all about your accomplishments and how we're going to do great things for America. It's going to be a big protest rally outside the convention, taking the attention away.
Yeah.
And then you're locked in because you can't, change the location now. Too late for that.
Right.
Everybody's already booked. But I'm sure there's somebody saying, "Can we get the hell out of North Carolina? Can we just move our convention to Virginia?" But, man, it'll be like Chicago when they had those riots.
But they'll get great ratings. You watch. They'll get huge ratings just because you have the occupiers out there. You'll have the same-sex supporters out there.
When I was a political junkie, I used to watch those conventions and I stopped. But now that I'm a talk radio host, I'll have to sit and watch both of the conventions. And it's so funny because they have those people that give speeches not in prime time, like at noon or 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're like the lesser people, and there's nobody on the convention floor. And they go to the podium and they act like they're speaking to a crowd, and there ain't nobody out there. Nobody's clapping, you know.
I got the sound effects guy's going to put some effects in later.
And you know, Barack Obama, he became famous. He stormed onto the scene from his convention speech that he gave.
That's right.
Good old Barack Obama gave a great convention speech, and the rest is history. By the way, the New Jersey Devils and the L.A. Kings, during the ice hockey game at breaks, the Devils played the home ice, the Immigrant Song. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is good, man. Hockey players were sitting there saying, yeah, man, it's the Immigrant Song.
That's pretty cool.
Go ahead. You got something to say?
I was just thinking about the convention when George H.W. Bush ran the first time.
Yeah.
And Ronald Reagan was at the convention. And, of course, he was like the main attraction, of course. And he was giving his speech. And somewhere in the background, a platform or something fell. I don't you remember that? There was just this big whack.
Uh-huh.
And without missing a beat, Reagan just goes, "You missed me." And went right
I remember
back
that.
to his
I remember that. That was great. It was good. Reagan was witty and wise. I've been asked to promote something. The African American Chamber has of Commerce in a tri-state has a franchise workshop on Thursday this week, June 7th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The African American Chamber. The cost is free. You can RSVP by June 5th. Info at African-AmericanChamber.com. And I'll put this up on my website tomorrow. I was asked to promote it. Let me tell you something, folks. Franchising is good. I know something about it because we are a franchisee of Wendy's, and we're a franchisor of Snappy Tomato Pizza. It works because there's systems and everything in place. If you go out and you start a pizza chain and you're like a Snappy Tomato Pizza franchise, your chances of success are much greater if you open it up and call it Brad's Pizza. It's just proven. Statistic.
Branding. Franchise
is a good thing. So the African American Chamber is hosting an event Thursday, June 7th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the African American Chamber on Gilbert Avenue. And I'll promote that some more. Also, Jeff Bullock told me on June 8th, 1967, the USS Liberty was savagely attacked by rockets, torpedoes, napalm, and white phosphorus. And 34 sailors and Marines died and 170 were wounded. And he wanted me to say something on the radio. This is Bulldog Nation member Jeff. Semper Fi, for God, for country, for the U.S. Marine Corps, in that order. I'm a Vietnam veteran. God bless you, Jeff. Also was asked to promote by Bulldog Nation member Angela a 4th annual 4TJ golf outing, and it will benefit the Rock Castle Regional Respiratory Care Center. That's all the way down in Mount Vernon, but some of the sponsors include Gleyer's Meats, Home City Ice, Cincinnati Zoo, Interactive Mortgage, and I'll put that up on my website too. So we're doing the Lord's work today, TC.
We are getting the word out, spreading the word.
Helping people promote.
Yeah.
Any final words from you?
Well, I had to stop by to get some gas at Kroger over the weekend. They've got those 24-hour gas stations.
Uh-huh.
I went there, and the guy there said the place was closed. I said, what happened? You're supposed to be open 24 hours. He says, well, not in a row.
That's funny.
Made me mad.
We come back tomorrow. More Radio Superbity. This is the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.